I'm Michael.
I'm Mary.
And I'm Audrey.
And you're watching Word of Mouth.
It's all about, isn't it? That's what it's really about, isn't it? That's what it's really about, really on, isn't it? 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 Company! 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 Lots of company, life is company.
Company is a story about, I think, 5 married couples who are very worried about their friend who is unmarried and who try really very hard to help him to get married, but half the time they want him to get married and half the time they don't.
It is about lead character is trying to decide whether or not he should throw himself into the throes of marriage and commitment.
The show does seem to be about marriage. It seems to be about relationships in general and how married couples seem to the single folks and how the single folks seem to the married couples.
It's a very touching show in that respect. I saw a lot of things that have happened in many marriages that I know in the show. It wasn't fake at all. It was truly about people who were married.
I liked seeing that because I was single for a long time. My husband's single for a long time. So interesting. I think a lot of people are going to identify and see a little bit of themselves in some of those characters.
The show is different than any show I've seen before in that the actors all play their own instruments. There's no pit, there's no orchestra. The actors all accompany each other and or themselves during the songs.
They did a beautiful job as an ensemble cast. Incredible talent. Some of the singers were stronger than others, but to see that, you know, you're singing it in 1 minute and then you're playing the flute, and they played it beautifully.
I found that in the beginning of the show I wasn't used to having the instruments on the same level as the actors who were singing, so I found it a little difficult to understand what they were saying. They couldn't always sing over the instruments because instruments are more powerful, and with the microphones, and it was a little hard to understand what everybody was saying.
Raul Esparza's performance was wonderful. He had a beautiful singing voice. When he sat down at the piano, he was just very talented. The last song, Being Alive, is when he truly showed his great stuff. I thought it was an excellent performance.
Raul is yummy. He is really good looking, and he's got a wonderful voice.
I thought all the performances were excellent. I thought Raul was excellent. I had seen him in a couple of other shows previously, and he continues to be excellent.
I loved Heather Laws. Heather played Amy in the show. She was a standout, and her solo was beautiful. I thought she did a great job. Very quick, very unbelievable how she kept up with the musicians. That was interesting to see, and she did a great job on that.
Barbara Walsh, who played Joanne, was wonderful as well, and she sang the song Ladies Who Lunch.
I thought the actress who played Kathy, Kelly Jean Grant, did an excellent job, both playing her instrument and performing the role of Kathy.
It was difficult to figure out the relationships between the married couples. I didn't have any trouble with the girlfriends. They were pretty easy to spot. But the married couples, I had a great deal of difficulty figuring out who was together, even though they showed them together in numerous sections, scenarios in the room and in various places. The couples were together, but once they mixed, it was hard for me to keep track of who was with who.
In all honesty, I think that the male characters I liked better. The women are just very catty, very unhappy, even with the nice guys. They'll find fault with the nice guy. So that was an interesting twist on things.
I think this show is good for people who are interested in a different theater experience, not your typical big song and dance show, and not a standard monologue play where people stand and just say their lines.
I would recommend this show certainly to a Sondheim fan. I have noticed that you either love Sondheim or you hate him. If you're a Sondheim fan, I would definitely recommend seeing this show.
I think any married person would enjoy this show. I think anybody who's 35 would enjoy this show in that age range, especially if they're unmarried, to listen to what is really out there, because you may think you're alone.
So if someone's interested in something different and something that they can definitely think about and talk about in the future, this would be a great show.
I come waiting for hours to bring all the flowers when I have the flu. We'll bring us yesterday's tea. We'll take the kids to the zoo. We'll be so dear, and you were so deep, and you would keep her occupied when I want to sleep. How would we ever